Welcome to Real Shanghai Mathematics Practice Book 2.2. This is Unit 6, which is called Let's Practice Geometry. It consists of 4 parts, and it is the second last unit. So there's 7 units in this Year 2 book, the second of the Year 2 books, and the last book in the Year 2, because each year has 2 books. So the first part of geometry is getting you to understand the compass in terms of north, east, south, west. And the compass is drawn there for you. So if you're standing straight up, in front of you is north, behind you south, and east is on the side they've shown you there, and west. So there's different ways people tend to remember it. If you have to sort of remember the direction of the east and west, the way that I tend to do it is as follows. So N is north, and because we write English from left to right, so next one would be okay, let's start that again. So that's north. News, so N, then E, because we write from left to right, and then W, and then S. So news, okay, news, NEWS. That's how I tend to remember it. And moving on to the first question, look at the map and answer the questions that follow. Again, you'll need to purchase the book, which is available as mentioned in the introduction, in the different description of the video. 1A, fill in the blanks with the names of the places around Dylan's home and the restaurants of Dylan home. So they're showing you a picture of Dylan's home, so you need to find that. That's over there. East side of Dylan's home is the cafe. West side is the hospital. South side is going to be one of the houses. It doesn't mention whose house from the picture. And the north side is a restaurant. And then you take the restaurant, and from the restaurant, the east side would be the taxi company. West side would be the petrol station, and the south side will be is it Dylan's house? Yeah, Dylan's home. And then the north would be all the way up there to Mini Boating Lake. B, for the previous one, maybe I've got the east and west wrong for Dylan's home, so you can double check that. 1B, where will these pupils get to if they follow these routes on the map? Dylan leaves his home and goes north, east, north. So it means one step north, and then east, and then north. So north, then east, and then so the one step. So it goes to the restaurant first, and the taxi, then the east to the taxi company, and then north. So you keep going on north until you hit somebody's home. That looks like it's Puppy. If you look at the bottom picture, that's Puppy, and so on and so forth. Should be straightforward. B, fourth part. Puppy leaves her house home and goes south. So find Puppy's home is there. Goes south, east, and then south. Okay, so each one's a step. So there's south, and then east, and then south is a restaurant, and then south again, and this is Dylan's home. And then moving on to C, how many street sections is it from the primary school to the following places by the shortest route? So the one is the post office from from the primary school. So find the primary school, and then we need to look for the post office. Okay, let's see if I can find them. Post office I found, primary school I found. Okay, so it's going to be 1, 2. So it's going to be 1, 2 street sections. Okay, so each of these is a street section. So each of the sort of squares is a street section. So 1, 2, so forth and so forth. And the ice cream shop from the primary school. Should we do ice cream shop? Where are we? Okay, they're the shortest possible. So I'd go pretty much straight. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish. It depends at the start, maybe 4, 5. Again, don't get too fixated. It's more about the principles. They understand that. 2, look at the zoo below and answer the questions that follow. Which place can be reached starting at the Dolphin House and taking the route east, north, north? So we start at Dolphin House. Where's Dolphin House? Yeah, then we go east and then north, north. So Butterfly House. Okay. And that's how you do that. 2D, what is the shortest route from the restaurant to the Asian Elephant area? So what is the shortest route from the restaurant to the Asian Elephant area? Okay, so right at the end, the shortest route. So there's different ways you could do it, but it's more about saying south, south, and then east, east, and the other one might be east, east, and south, south, and so on. So east, south, south. Yeah, actually that'd be shorter, isn't it? East, south, south. Okay, and then question 3, draw a, shall we do the, okay, let's do the bottom one, which is draw the heart in the box east of the triangle, and they've got you the, showing the compass there, so it should be fairly straightforward. Moving on to level B, which are normally a little bit harder. 1, whose house are these? So this is from the description. Dylan's home is to the east of Alex's homes and to the west of Hoppy's home. The school is located to the west of Dylan's home and to the east of Alex's home. Okay, so the school, so the second information is probably most useful at the moment. So the school is located to the west of, okay, now Dylan's home and to the east of, so that means the home, so the east of Alex's home, so it means you have this home of Alex has to be on the west side, because if you start from the Alex's home, then the Dylan's home, the school is located to the east, yeah, east of Alex's home. So the first home must be Alex's home, and then the other ones could be Dylan's home, or it could be who else's home is here, or Poppy's home. And the information from the top should help you. Dylan's home is to the east of Alex's home. Yeah, so that doesn't help you much. And to the west of Poppy's home. So that means that right at the end, last home must be Poppy's home. Okay, and the question 2, you got to schedule the Poppy's schedule. Talk about Poppy's school day using the pictures and schedule below. So it's talking exercise, so you can see which direction people are being moved in. Again, if you want to be done, that's great. If not an issue. And then moving on to the second part, which is to do with angle, which you have done a bit before. So just a recap of that. Again, for angle, there need to be 2 lines that join together, and there need to be 2 straight lines. So one is just a reminder of that. So the first one will be a tick, and the middle 2 will be a crosses, and the last one will be a tick. 2, write the name of each type of angle. Okay, so there's essentially learning 3 different angles here, and those angles are as follows. Let's get some straight lines. So as I say, the first one, which we have, I believe, done before, is the perfectly 90 degrees. Okay, so this is 90 degrees. It's a quarter of a whole circle. So all the way around would have been 360. So this is perfect 90 degrees, and that's called a right angle triangle. And the way to check that as is by have a set square, which is that kind of shape, or have a piece of a rectangular shape or piece of paper. You can line that up and see if it's a right angle or not. And then any angle that's smaller than that, and again, angles are measured from one end to the other, so we go like that either way. So anything that's smaller than that, like this one, and this time or anything that's smaller, anything that's larger than that. So okay, for those ones we just put a circle one for the angles. This one, because there's a right angle, so these ones you just put a circle. They just so you know that this is the angle we're talking about. This angle here. Okay, and this is less than 90 degrees, so this is a right angle. So this one is called an acute angle. Acute, okay, acute. And this is something that you just will need to learn. So this is an acute angle, and this one here is called a obtuse angle. So more than 90 degrees is called obtuse angle. This one's obtuse angle, and that's called an acute angle. Okay, so acute is less than 90 degrees, and 90 degrees is called a right angle. So let's fit that in, right angle. Okay, so that's called right angle, and that's essentially what you're learning here. Then moving on to question 2. So you can see from question 2, the first one, they're more than 90 degrees, so they are obtuse angles. The middle ones are right angles, and the last ones are acute angles. I'm not going to cover every single one because you should be picking up the points. Question 3, A, compare the right angle at the corner of a whiteboard with the right angle in a set square. A right angle in the whiteboard is bigger, a right angle in the set square is bigger, they are the same. So if they're both right angles, they have to be the same. They can't be bigger, smaller. If they're right angle, they're exactly the same. B, the angle between the minute hand and hour hand is an obtuse angle when the time is the following. Okay, so what time is that? So you need to know where the big hand is the small hand. So between the minute hand and the hour hand. Okay, so between the minute hand and the hour hand. So you need to know which one. So you need to show the shape. So and do it according to that. So 3 o'clock would be a perfect right angle, okay, and 10 o'clock would be smaller, would be a acute. So you can check whether the C is an obtuse angle or not. Draw one acute angle, right angle, one obtuse angle on the squared grid below. So it should be fairly straightforward. Again, straight lines, please, and the squares themselves should help you to do a right angle. And question 5, use a set square. Okay, so use a set square because the set square will show you which one is a right angle or not. If you're not sure what a set square is, just put in Google. They will show you what set square is. They can be purchased, and they can be purchased with a protractor and a compass, and that will be required for maths anyway. So it's a good idea to purchase those. So which ones are acute angles? Which one are obtuse angles? Okay, so I'll just cover one of each. So question 1 is a acute angle, 2 is a right angle, and 3 is an obtuse angle, and then you just have to look at the following for those. 6, find the number of angles in each shape below. Write your answers in the so a number of angles are within the shape are going to be lines that are connected together and forming angles. So in a triangle you have 3 angles. Okay, so in a triangle you have 3 angles. If we made these into a triangle, each of these is an angle. Okay, so these are the lines meet. So these are called angles, and so on and so forth. And so for the first shape, which is quadrilateral, 4 angles, and the next one 3 angles, and the pentagon is 5 angles. There are so many angles inside this shape, so you should be able to see there's 3 in each of the triangles. So you got 6, and then these are slightly trickier questions. Then you have to also remember there's going to be additional 2 more angles as well, because you're going to get angle here as well by a combination, and same on the other side as well. So there'll be 6 plus 2. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, as I say, B is usually a jump, so it might be a bit more trickier. So you can see an angle there as well. Okay, and moving on to the B question 2. In this drawing above baseline, there are how many acute angles, right angles? Again, you have to think about this carefully. Right angles, you should be able to see 2 right angles, and acute angles, you can see there's 1, 2, and then obtuse angle, there is, I believe, 1. So again, you need to see the different possibilities, and there may be, like the other one, like question 1, maybe should be able to help you with question 2. Number 3, triangles. Number 3. So this is onto the third section, which are called triangles and quadrilaterals. So shapes which are triangles are three straight lines connected together are a triangle, and quadrilaterals are 4 straight lines connected to each other. Okay, no curved lines. They have to be connected to each other. So that's what they're showing you there, really. So diagram 3 will not be any shape. 1 will not be any shape. It's not straight lines. 4 will just be an angle. It's not a shape. So and so on and so forth. So it should be fairly straightforward. Again, shall I do some of them? Okay, so let's pick a triangle. Triangle 8 is one of the triangles. Quadrilateral is 4 sides. So 14 will not be a quadrilateral, okay? Because there has to be 4 sides. So all the what shapes, the 4 sides, like 5, 15, and so on, even 16 are quadrilaterals, and then rectangles are special types of a quadrilateral. So quadrilateral includes all 4 sides. Rectangles are a special type of quadrilateral, and then squares also are a special type of rectangle. So rectangles will include your squares. So 5, 15, 12, etc., etc. And the squares are specific ones where, as well as all the corners being 90 degrees, they are all equal length. So 12, 5. So 5 is a square, it's just been turned over, and so on and so forth. And then moving on to B, which is a bit trickier, is count the triangles and quadrilaterals. Again, quadrilaterals are four-sided shapes, and triangles are three-sided shapes. Okay, and again, so triangles, quadrilaterals should be fairly straightforward. Again, circles are not curved, so they're not part of the quadrilaterals. Fine. And you've got the last one as well, or 1b. To divide the pentagon into a triangle and quadrilateral using one straight line. So if you draw a straight line, you should be able to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you draw a straight line to make a rectangle, connect one edge to another end, there's different possibilities being able to do that. So you can do that. Should be straightforward. Again, if you're stuck, let me know. And then page 77, which is the last part of this, which is classifications of triangles. So there are different types of triangles. So let's see which one are they referring to. So they're talking about acute triangles, obtuse triangles, and probably right angle triangles. So the shapes, the triangles are classified by the size of their angles. Okay, and we've got those three types. Triangles with one right angle are called right angle triangles. Triangles with one obtuse angles are called obtuse triangles, and triangles with are called acute triangles. For acute triangles, all of the sides have to be acute angles. Okay, so all of the sides have to be acute angles, so less than 90 degrees. All triangles have at least how many acute angles? So that all triangles have at least two acute triangles. Perhaps we should show that there. So, for example, here, this is acute triangle now. All of these are acute, whereas this one, if we draw a straight line here, it's an obtuse triangle, but you can see these two will have to be acute. These two are acute, okay? Again, this should connect. And here, again, these two will have to be acute. So there at least two have to be acute. And the reason for that is because altogether the triangles add up to 180 degrees. But I'm not sure if that's covered in this topic, but you'll learn that perhaps later on. Question 2. Look at the triangles, use a set square. So you can use a set square to work out if they are a right angle present or not present. The biggest triangle is a what angle? So you look at the biggest one, and if it's an obtuse angle, then we say it's an obtuse triangle. If it's an acute, the biggest one is an acute triangle, then we say acute triangle because all of them are acute. And if one biggest one is the right angle, then it's right angle. So if I was guessing, I would say A is fully obtuse, B is acute, and C is a right angle. And question 3: each of these triangles has one or more angles covered by a rectangular card. Make a choice, write the letter, the correct answer in the brackets. The triangle is what? Okay, so let's try and work this one out. So the triangle, each of these triangles has one or more angles covered by a rectangular card. Make a choice. The triangle is what? So okay, so it's basically showing you this example, showing you that you don't need to know what the other angle is. If it's a triangle, you see the first one is a right angle. They're showing you that the right angles, that a 3A has to be a right angle triangle. And the third, B, you can see that with the two angles shown outside, one's acute, the other one's obtuse. So we have to say it's an obtuse triangle because it goes by the largest one. And you can see the one below C shows you just one angle, shows you one angle. If it shows you one acute angle, then the possibility is it can be an acute angle triangle, but it can also be a right angle triangle, what's covered up, and it can also be an obtuse triangle. Okay, because you need to see two of the angles to be able to work it out, unless you see a right angle and obtuse angle. Okay, because acute angle, we've said this before, every triangle will have at least two acute angles. So that in its one acute angle, just looking at that itself is not gonna give you the picture of whether it's an acute angle or an obtuse angle or a right angle. So it could be any of the three. And B, divide the quadrilateral into an acute triangle and obtuse triangle by drawing only one straight line. Okay, so you have a picture there, and you have to work out which ones to do. And again, you'll need a set square to first. So first you should do is identify the obtuse angle from there, and then make sure you make a triangle from there. Okay. And question two: mini investigation, is it possible to have two right angles in triangle? Possible to have two obtuse angle triangles? So you could try that, but you'll soon see no, it's not possible, because the total angle has to be 180 degrees, and if you have two right angles, 90 plus 90 is already 180 degrees. There's no angles left for another line, the other angle has zero left, and you can't have an angle of zero to make up a triangle. And with that we end. So please do like and subscribe and share, and please place your comments below, and move on to the next unit, which will be unit 7, and that'll be the last one in this series of Real Shanghai in terms of year 2 book.